Hey everybody, it's Chris here with another episode of the Main Points Podcast. Today we have Dr. Rochelle Clark. She's been the superintendent of Decatur Public Schools since 2022. We're really excited to talk with her about what she sees as the vision and the mission of Decatur Public Schools and really the students, how she feels about the students. We're really excited about it and look forward to you watching it. Thank you. Well, welcome to this edition of the Main Points Podcast. And today we have Dr. Rochelle Clark, and she is the superintendent of Decatur Public Schools.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, and thank you very much for joining us. I believe you've been the superintendent since 2022, correct?
February of 2022.
Okay, so you've crossed that 2-year mark,
Yes.
and I think by the time this podcast airs, we're going to be heading into a new school year here in the fall of 24. So
yes, exciting, right?
that is exciting, very exciting. So, hey, at this podcast, we're really about celebrating, educating, and elevating all things in Decatur. And as we started building out our program for this year, we knew having you on was something that we wanted to do because we know that Decatur Public Schools are very important to Decatur. And we really wanted to get to know you a little bit more and kind of what drives you and why are you here. So if you would kind of go back, kind of what's your background, where are you from, and how'd you end up here?
Wow. How much time do I have? Okay.
As much as you need.
All right. Well, I am the oldest of 3 children.
Okay.
Born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois. Always had a passion for education. It just came out in my play. So we would play school, believe it or not. And I enjoyed doing that. I never knew that I would be in this position. I started off wanting to be a court stenographer. So I took classes to do that.
Okay.
I worked in the medical field where I would register people who came in for emergency situations. And then I started a family and decided, what else could I do to be more engaging with my own kids? Mm-hmm. So when my baby was born, I became a TA for a special education group of teachers in Cahokia.
Okay.
And I worked there for several years and decided I can kind of do this. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go back to school, got my certification, and I became a teacher and then assistant principal and then principal. And here I am now as a superintendent.
Who knew?
Right.
Playing school at 9 years old, and I'm sure you were putting the law down on the little boy in the corner that wasn't following the rules.
That's right. You had to listen to me.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure you've carried that really that sense of discipline all the way through too.
Yes. Because I also was raised by a strong disciplinarian father and mother. So they meant business. So when it was time to do homework, you did homework. Mm-hmm. When it was time for bed, you went to bed. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to make sure that as I was going through the processes of becoming a superintendent, I also wanted to be part of a community that loved what education can bring to kids. And so being here in Decatur reminds me of my hometown of East St. Louis.
Right on.
And so I've always wanted to give back. And I was never able to do that other than my volunteer work. They never had positions available at that time. And so when I came here, I felt like home.
So you say when you came here, I believe you came here and you left. And so talk to us about the first time you came here. What were you doing? What was your role? And what was that experience like?
So I was the assistant principal at TJ for a year. Okay. Then I was the assistant principal at Stephen Decatur for a few years. And then I left here. I was then the director of student services at the time. Okay. And I did that for a few years. I left to become an assistant superintendent in Crete-Moniz School District. And when this job became available, I was already here as an interim assistant superintendent. So I knew I was going to be here for a short period of time and just kind of help out, do what I could do for the community. And then this position became available and I said, I think I can do this. I believe I'm the person for this job. And I didn't know the other applicants, but I did know I had something that they didn't have. And that was a love and passion like no other.
Right.
And I knew that I was the best person for this position. So I threw my hat in the ring.
So go back just a little bit for me, and that's outstanding. Go back to when you were a TA, and then you said you went to school to become certified. What was that decision really like? Because that's a big decision, because you had jobs and now you're having children and kids are in school, and now am I going to go to school? Like, that's a whole lifestyle, family dynamic change too.
Yes.
What went into that decision?
Man, it was a lot of conversations with my husband at the time, because my girls were still very young. I had one on the hip and I had a toddler, and we just knew we had to make it work because it was something I wanted to do, but I didn't have a lot of time to do it. And so I gave myself 2 years.
Okay.
I just remembered in high school, you did it. You had all day classes. You can do it now. So I went to work full time as a TA, left work on time, and did 4 classes, sometimes 3. And I finished my degree in 2 years with my babies in hand. So some days I had sitters, some days I didn't. I would just bring them with me and sit them in a little seat next to me. You practice on your shapes and you work on your numbers and your letters, and
I'm over here too.
I'm right here, so.
And what a great way to lead them by example too, of just like, hey, this is, as a family, this is what we're doing. Education is important. So it sounds like that you said there were a lot of conversations. You didn't say it was, should I do it or shouldn't I do it?
No, that
wasn't the question.
No, it was happening. It was just how to make it happen.
Get out of my way.
Yes. And I had a lot of family support. And that's the great thing about being where you are right now. That family support is why I'm here today. And I want to make sure that the community knows I'm here for them as well. Everything that I've done, everything that I've gone through, is no different than what my kids are going through right now. We're going to get them to the end.
Right. So talk to me then again about as you moved into the higher roles, from Director of Student Services, I know then it becomes more education.
Yes.
More education. Now to become a doctor, to be able to be superintendent, what were those decision points like for you?
That was very hard. I actually started that process when I was here in the beginning. And I was going to school over the weekends, at night, throughout the summer. And there was one particular event where they changed the course, meaning the number of credits that you're going to need in order to graduate. And we thought, my group that was doing the doctoral program, were grandfathered in. And then we received a letter that, no, you're not going to graduate on time because you have to complete this one particular course. That just threw me in for like a whirlwind. So I ended up having to leave work early one evening, driving all the way out to St. Louis, meeting with the provost, pleading our case to make sure we were able to be grandfathered in so that we can graduate on time. And it happened. And then I turned around and I drove right back to Decatur again.
Wow. So why? Why did you go through all that? Why later in life did you go through the doctoral programs that I'm sure are very lengthy and deep and intense? What was driving you to say, I want to be at that level?
One was my kids, because every time I had grades, I posted them on the refrigerator. I wanted them to know that no matter what, it's never too late for you to go back and learn. So that was the first thing.
You were posting your grades on the refrigerator?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the second thing is because I wanted to make sure I at least had the background to help the people that are working alongside me. So teachers need to know that you've been where they've been in order to assist them. Same with the teacher assistants, even the custodians. What are you doing that can benefit me? So I wanted to go back and get as much education as I possibly could to better understand the realm of people that I would be working with.
I think there's always different types of leadership. We know there's different types of leaders and leadership. And there's certainly an era, or one of those positions is a leadership from the desk or from the office. More of a suit and tie or a formal wear. Whereas I'm seeing leadership now be more of a what I'll call a boots on the ground or a side by side, or either I've done that job before, I've dug that ditch myself,
Right.
or I'll go dig that ditch with you right now because it needs to be done. That's what I'm sensing is your type of leadership, because you mentioned the teachers, you mentioned the TAs of just, you've been in those roles.
Right.
You've done those jobs.
Exactly. And that is, I don't want to ever forget that. And it's important for me to let them know that I understand. I feel you. I want to be here with you. So what can I do to assist? We're not going to always agree. Let's be clear.
Right.
But at the same time, I want to make sure that everyone knows I'm not just making decisions because, oh, this is just what I do. No, it's because I took the time to go through these different steps to better prepare me to be a better leader for them.
Absolutely. And now to Decatur. You know Decatur. You've been here. You understand it. I think there's always the, let's go find a superintendent who ran this, or an executive director that was in, or a city manager that was in this, and they'll come here and bring all their wise ways. And sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Every locale is local. Every location is local, and especially in education, that's correct as well.
Right.
So I assume that holds well with the teachers then too.
Absolutely. Decatur is Decatur. There is no other place like Decatur.
Right.
And so everything that I do, everything we do as a unit is because of the expectations of us. It is our job to understand the needs of the community and fill in those gaps. And it starts with our kids, absolutely. But don't forget, they're connected to a home life. So we have to include the family. And then that family works here in our community. And that community is expecting of us. So we have to continue to fill all those gaps.
Yep. So, this kind of goes now to what's your vision and mission for Decatur Public Schools, but I'm going to twist it a little bit and say, what's your expectation for Decatur Public Schools?
My expectation is for my kids to graduate knowing exactly who they are as individuals and go after what they want in life. If that's in the military, if that's taking over, your parents, what they're doing with their own careers, if that's taking over the home life, maybe you're the family man or family woman at the time, taking care of your younger siblings. If you're going through a trade, whatever it is that you feel you need to do to be a productive citizen in Decatur, I want to make sure you're prepared to do that. That is my goal for them. That is my vision for them. No holds bar. All I want them to see is success when they graduate from either Eisenhower or MacArthur. Because the bottom line is, and they're the ones that's taking care of us.
Right.
So we need to make sure we give them what they need. I don't want them to be fearful. Success is in your path. All I want you to do is walk it and achieve it.
And the school system is there to lay the path out.
That's right.
That's all you can do is lay it out. Then take down any barriers for them.
Absolutely.
To walk that.
Absolutely. And yes, we are the path, but there are going to be a lot of rocks, broken glass along the way. We have to protect them and guide them and show them how to walk across anyway.
I saw a quote recently, and I'm not great at quoting quotes, but the essence of it was, as parents, we shouldn't remove mountains from our kids' paths. We should help them become mountain climbers.
Yes.
Because as kids, the mountains we face are nothing compared to the mountains that we face as adults too.
Yes.
And into life. And that's what makes accomplishment and success too.
Right. And really, when you think about it, the mountains that our kids are seeing right now, they're just stumbling blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said, as an adult, you're going to find a much higher one that you have to climb. But if we don't give them that encouragement, if we don't give them the how to do any of these things, then every little stumbling block becomes a huge mountain to climb.
Absolutely. And I have teens, and you know, things are, those stumbling blocks are, to us they're stumbling blocks. They're a little brick in the road, but to them that's a big block that they've never had to deal with before. So what's one win that you really want the community to celebrate and know about that's happened in the last year or two for Decatur Public Schools?
I would say the relationship that we have with our community partners like OKO, Heartland, Richland Community College, our churches. I'm proud of that connection because it's providing avenues for our kids, you know, the internships, the signing when they're receiving jobs from Caterpillar, ADM. I am very proud of that connection, and I'm hoping to continue to grow that because it also provides a life for our kids once they graduate high school. And this is something that they didn't know that they were going to achieve when they entered 9th grade. And now they're looking at, I can provide for my family.
Right. How have you made those connections with the community?
Basically through Leslie Rigsby, of course, and Ashley Grainett. They go out and they make the connections. We have a meeting every year at the beginning of the year. We talk about the pathways we currently have and what pathways we can create. So our goal is to always create at least one more pathway every year to give variety to the students.
Okay. Very good. Well, and we've participated with Leslie Risby too, and with one of the high school seniors that did an internship with us in the spring, and we were talking off air. You know, some of the experience, just some of the life things that she was able to pick up on. That, you know, me being a professional for this period of time, and her just where she's at is just, I know she walked away with some experience that isn't going to come from a textbook or from a class.
Right, exactly. When you have students that are looking at law enforcement and get to see firsthand one of the greatest facilities, you know, in the area, or you're looking at those students that are looking to be a nurse, and then you graduate and you already have, you know, your CNA. These are the things that are DPS proud, because we are reaching a community of individuals that in turn can come back to us and then fill jobs for us in the future.
Where do you view, we use the word expectation at the beginning here. What expectation do you have of the community to help and support DPS?
All I'm really asking for is more involvement, you know, more volunteer, more ways for our kids to be a part of that workforce family. More ways to assist them with the homework, because sometimes we have working parents and they need that help. Just more ways to let our kids know that they are number one. We're here to help them. And it doesn't take away what you're trying to do with your own family. It's just an extension of that family. So the more that I can get volunteers into the school, the more connections we can make to start building relationships, the better our kids will be, because they know that they have someone in their corner.
And I think to the businesses too that are out there, you know, sometimes having an intern, you know, feels like an obligation, because what am I going to have them do, and what am I going to have them oversee? The intern I had over the spring, honestly, the best experience she got was when I said, just start sitting in my office. Just start listening to what I'm dealing with, who I'm talking to, how I'm handling situations. And then naturally, you know, there became little things that she could help with. You know, to the helping with homework, I think there's people that can help out there. As long as it's not algebra 2. Some of these math subjects now are way out there, and it's done differently, and you can't even Google it anymore. So that's certainly beyond probably a lot of people's. So kudos to the math and algebra teachers out there. Yes. What are, I guess, you know, we've talked about vision, mission, we've talked about expectations. Values. As the students leave, what values do you want them to carry with them, and how are those values being implemented? And I know it starts at home, but a lot happens in the school too. What's important there? That is true, and it is difficult because your values do come from home. You know, those are the core things that you take with you no matter what. And so for me, I want our kids to just be nurturing,
to understand what that means. It doesn't take away from anything that you're learning from home, but it does surround everything that you do in life. Understanding why people are the way that they are, their response to you, your response to them, the relationships that you're in, the sometimes disappointments that may come. But if you focus on that nurturing piece of yourself, you will always have compassion. You will always have understanding. You will always have second chance. I think that's going to be important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't want this to be, how are the relations with teachers? How have teachers responded to you and teachers' assistants responded to you, your type of leadership and your expectation, mission, vision, and values for them and for the students?
Well, like I said, we're never going to always agree on everything.
Right.
But I think I've been well received. They understand that I'm going to be transparent. They understand that I'm going to be fair. And everyone knows that I'm always going to make decisions based on what is best for kids first, them second, myself last. Because in the end, what we want is for the student to be successful and to rise above all challenges. And they need the teachers, they need the TAs, they need the administrators, they need the bus driver, they need everybody that touches their lives every day to be part of their team. And that is what I encourage. That's what I expect. And when there is a glimpse or maybe even a delay of what that future looks like, then we need to come back to the table and figure out how to brighten that light again. And so in the end, I think we all are on the same page. We just have to start moving in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good for you. Because I know, leadership's tough, especially being in a new leadership position because, I've heard it before is I've been here longer than you've been here, and I'll be here long past you're not here anymore. And I'm sure if you've not heard it, it's mumbled somewhere. Yeah. So kudos to you to having that clear vision and expectation of how you want people to perform for the benefit of the students, for the benefit of the community.
Well, thank you for that. It's easy when you have such a group that is just, and I'm not saying it because it's them, but DPS is a great place to be. And we have great people working with our kids. So thank you for that. And absolutely. I want to thank them as well because I couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely. Kudos to all the teachers, TAs, staff, custodians, grounds. I mean, it does, it does take the team. It takes everybody. It takes, I remember when I was in school, the people to come in and do the floors every night. They were there doing the janitor work and it had to be done so that the next morning everything was fresh and clean when we showed up. So 5 to 10 years from now, what do you see? What's the district look like? What's happening? What's a priority? What's the feel and the mood of being part of Decatur Public Schools or graduates of Decatur schools?
In a word, excitement.
Okay.
Because what I am looking for, I think what we're all are looking for is making Decatur a premier district. That means increasing test scores. That means students going off to college. That means students having a job after they graduate or just at least postgraduate opportunities. Just the excitement of it all, of seeing it unfold. We're going to be known for greatness, and I am looking forward to that.
Good. Well, know that there's an entire community that's rooting for you and everyone involved in the district, for that to happen.
Thank you.
And everyone else is, there's some wait and sees. There's some.
Oh yes.
Okay. What is happening and how is this going to go? I mean, let's be transparent about that. But everybody wants it to happen.
Oh, yes.
Everybody wants, the positivity to continue, the excitement to continue, the expectations to continue.
Yes, absolutely. And that is what we're going to do.
Good.
There's a lot to be proud of here.
Very good. Well, one last thing. I want to switch away from DPS just a little bit. You are a resident of Decatur.
Yes.
How is Decatur? How do you view Decatur? What do you enjoy about Decatur? What do you wish there was in Decatur here?
So this is going to sound corny.
Okay.
But I wish we had a White Castle.
Oh my gosh. Okay. there's some dive bar tours we could take you on. It's not going to be a White Castle, but.
But I love food, and I think that's what I really like about Decatur. They just offer so much. When we received, Cold Stone ice cream.
Yes.
I told my husband, I was like, they have a Cold Stone. We have to go. And so we've been going there almost every week since they've opened.
Okay, you got the punch card. And
I should get one as much as I'm there. But really, I just love the diversity that is Decatur. I've never met anyone that wasn't welcoming. People speak to you when you're walking on the street that you don't even know. They want to be helpful. They want to introduce new things to you. They would love for you to come and join them at the table. And this is something that I've always experienced, even from day one. But my favorite is the food. I absolutely love the food. I love sitting at the lake while we're eating. I did take a peek at the boat show recently when they were racing.
There you go.
That was cool.
Yep.
I just love it.
Yeah. Good. I had a really good one. Hold on, Rich. Living, working, playing, and you were talking about food. Oh my gosh, why did I miss this? This is why I should have written things down. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, he
no
can
worries.
edit. He's the man at that. Okay. Man, it was when you were talking about living and working here. Okay.
Did the White Castle throw you off?
It did. Yeah. So I'm like, really? White Castle? That's where we're going with this? That's on your wish list?
Restaurants say open past 10.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I'll get it later. Oh, no. It was, now I got it. Okay. All right. Okay. I can't believe you want a White Castle here. But, so really, an interesting thing that has occurred to me too, you mentioned people being welcoming.
Yes.
That's what got me was you say everyone's welcoming here. I've been a real estate agent for 11 years now. And before, when people would come to town, they'd spend about 24 hours here, go to a restaurant, go to some stores, drive around a little bit, and they go, Decatur's just kind of a tough place.
Really?
Where people, now this is before, hold with me here, whether it be the waitress at the restaurant or, I'm visiting from St. Louis, I'm thinking about moving here, and people would say, why are you moving here? Why are you moving from Florida? Why are you moving from California to Decatur? Why would you do that? And I would always kind of cringe when somebody'd say, oh, we're going to spend a couple days here and see what it's like. Because, Decatur people were hard on Decatur.
Yes.
And they would kind of put down the thought of why anybody else would want to come here. Just this spring, I've had several people come, and one in particular had come, and they spent an entire week here, and they went to local restaurants, local breweries, museums, and took in the full experience. And I asked them, kind of cringing, be like, how's it been? And they're like, it's wonderful.
Yes.
People love being here. This seems like a really welcoming place to be. So I'm glad that you have felt that, and it really is true across the community that
Yes.
people are welcoming. And and I always say it's across the board, across all employees, and and any interaction that somebody has, it has an impact.
True.
When I worked in commercial real estate, we would just go to a town. We would go check out a town. We'd go get breakfast. We'd go get lunch. We'd drive around, look at properties. We'd make some phone calls, see how people handled themselves. How are the interactions within the town?
Right.
And that can tell you about the character of the town. And what I can say about the character of the town now and the interactions that people are having now is outstanding.
It really is. And I tell you, and People know me. I love Walmart, so I'm always in Walmart. That is a true test of what your community has to offer. When you can go into a Walmart and the people there greet you, and I'm not talking about their job. I'm just talking about the people that are there shopping. Hey, how you doing? Have you tried this? Hey, I see you're looking at this. Why don't you try this? Walmart, Dollar General, Von Moore. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's the same across the board. People are great here. They want you to be here. And they will do whatever they can to assist you with what you need. I've always experienced that here.
Great. Very good. Well, there it is. That's what we were wanting to hear. And, that's why we're doing what we do, because we want to celebrate the people that are here. And we really want to acknowledge the ones that are here helping make it happen by encouraging others to be here and being positive influence and positive interactions.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to add today?
No, just thank you for allowing me to speak and just share my truth. But I do want to give a shout out to Decatur Police Department because they have been working with us in our schools.
Good.
And I just wanted to say thank you. They're coming back and I love it. We have great relationships and you have done wonders for our kids. So thank you.
Good. Decatur's finest, certainly.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Thank you very much. And thanks for tuning in. Well, as you could tell, that was a very exciting conversation with Dr. Clark. I know she used excitement quite a bit there, but you can really feel it sitting with her that she cares so much about the kids. She cares about the teachers. She cares about the community too. And I know she's excited about the future of Decatur and the products that are coming from the Decatur Public Schools. So that was awesome. I appreciate you tuning in and look forward to our next episodes.